Ooh, looks like we're a little blurry here. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Apollo's Odyssey. I'm your host, Apolla Asteria. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm not doing my usual setup here. I'm actually going live from Camp Disclosure, so it's a little weird. I have to go live from my camera. Actually, I'm noticing my lens is a little blurry, so sorry, 1 second here. It's weird, sorry. Okay, there we go. That looks better. Okay, so yeah, I forgot my webcam at home, unfortunately, so I'm doing this weird thing where I have my phone up here and then my laptop down here, so it's just kind of awkward. But that's what we're doing tonight. So I am all set up here at Camp Disclosure in Helen, Georgia. It's a different place than where it was at last year. Last year it was kind of funny because I came here I came to North Carolina for business, and then I found out from some random people I barely knew that there was a UFO conference going on out here, or out there. This year's in Georgia, last year's in North Carolina. So I ended up going, because at the time I was doing a lot of reports for Third Base and Moon. So I interviewed James Gilliland at the event last year, which went really well, and that was awesome. I got some really interesting people on a Third Base and Moon at that event, and I was only there for a couple days. So this year I am actually speaking at the event myself, and I am all set up with my Shaman Spears booth, which is behind me right now. I was hoping to get a lot of my fellow speakers on this live thing tonight. I didn't really realize the event is kind of ending for tonight. Everyone's off to dinner, but hopefully I let everyone know. So hopefully they'll be able to come around and hang out. This is actually the Experiencers Lounge at the event. I wish I could flip my camera up and show the sign behind me, but I'm actually wearing the Experiencers Lounge. So what that means is basically anyone that has any sort of paranormal experiences, UFO experiences, they're coming by in this like whole booth area that I set up to talk about their experiences. So that's what I'm doing this weekend. And, I've been traveling constantly and it's been a lot. There's so many conferences going on this summer. I have Conscious Life Expo coming up a little later in September. And then I'm going to be at Disclosure Con at the end of September. Thankfully, Conscious Life Expo is in LA, so I won't have to travel for that. So if you want to meet me at either of those events, please feel free to link with me. Also, if you want to be a part of this event this weekend and you can't physically make it out, which if you can physically make it out, there's still time. We still have time. You can still come here. But if you would like to join the live chat, feel free to check that out here. It's interesting having two screens for my show tonight. I'm digging this. But yeah, so I'm sorry, I said the live chat, but if you'd like to join the live stream, there are tickets for that on here. So that should be, I'm assuming, in the tickets section. Let's see here. Let me see here. Huh. Oh, here we go. Live stream. Okay. And that is $88. And all you do is click get tickets and you will get to see the entire live stream. So make sure you go check that out. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Here are all the speakers we have. There's me. It's kind of blurry because that's a video. Let me see here. Schedule. We got 4 days going on at this event. A lot of awesome speakers lined up, so make sure you come on and check that out. Okay. So yeah, so this weekend's gonna be really interesting. Oh, and actually, when am I speaking? Let me go ahead and check that out real quick so you guys all know. I should know this. Looks like I am going to be speaking at the Dogwood stage, wherever that's at, 9:45 to 11:15. That is extremely early. Really weird. Okay. Yeah. So, oh wait, maybe that's at night. Hold on. Can't tell if that's supposed to be in the evening or in the morning. but that's Saturday. So yeah, I'm assuming that's in the morning. Hello.
Hi.
Do you have any paranormal experiences to talk about?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I came to listen.
Okay, well, I mean, if you want to join in a conversation, I'm trying to find people to join. So,
Sure.
um,
I mean,
okay.
I guess I have seen some light ships before.
Okay, well, we can talk about it. Okay, so what's your name again?
I'm Brandon.
Brandon. This is Brandon, and he's gonna talk about paranormal experiences with me. I really just kind of need someone to do this show with right now because no one's come up here yet. So, what are you guys seeing in the chat? Let me see here.
How many people have we got?
On the chat right now, it looks like 29.
That's pretty good.
I mean, just starting the show, so
Famous.
yeah, totally. I mean, Tim Bakia says, "Wish you could have made it to ECETI. You would experience a paradigm shift in a good way. You know, I really wanted to be out there. You know, it's really weird. I feel bad. What happened with that was, you know, I was supposed to be there doing interviews, and I was supposed to go out there with some other people, and they had to cancel last minute, and I just didn't really know where I would be staying." You know, I felt more comfortable if I was going out with some friends of mine, but unfortunately, you know, they weren't able to make it last minute. And yeah, I didn't really want to go out when I didn't really know where I'd be staying. And yeah, so that's kind of what happened with that. I feel bad. I need to tell James what all went down with that. Okay, and before I really get going here, um, make sure you check out my art if you want to see me uh continue with my show here. I know a lot of you may have joined since my latest episode, which was a message to Hollywood, and I really appreciate everyone who caught on to that. That was a very important message about what I've been dealing with here in, or not here, but in LA. So, you know, I've been dealing with a lot there in regards to all the mandates and everything. So it's been kind of difficult. And if you want to support me and keep me going, since half of my gigs are I probably can't do because I am not getting mandated with shots. Sorry, I'm trying to find the best way to go about saying this here without getting flagged. But if you want to keep me going, please either, you know, you can go ahead and show me some love in the live chat, or you can check out my Shaman Spears, which are uniquely handcrafted energy channeling devices, which I have invented myself. They're really cool. They have magnets, copper coils, and sandite collect from sacred places around the world down the insides, and they're very powerful for channeling energy. So make sure you go check those out. And I'm also selling them here at the event, so you know, get them before they're all gone. I like I said, I will be at the Conscious Live Expo in September, selling there as well. And I am starting with KGRA and Aftermath. I'm going to be starting to stream to those shows pretty soon here. So my Tuesday show, unfortunately, will not be on YouTube anymore. You'll have to go catch me on KGRA to see that. So that's going to be interesting. And I'm going to have some really wild interviews on there, so you're not going to want to miss that. Aftermath is going to be on Thursday, and we haven't worked out the specific time yet. So it looks like I may actually be more on in the morning. Okay, so Brandon.
Yeah. So no streaming on Rockpin then? I heard that's like
Rockpin? I don't know what Rockpin is.
like another up and coming.
Yeah, well, I use StreamYard to like, but it's actually on YouTube and a bunch of other things, but I stream to them all at once. Thank you for the super chat here.
$3.
Greatest role is you. Good vibes always. I really appreciate that. So Brandon, what are your thoughts on paranormal experiences? You said you haven't had any of your own, or I mean, what are your thoughts on like aliens and UFOs and all that?
Sure. So in 2017, I guess, Luis Elizondo leaked the footage from the Pentagon.
Okay.
And that's why I first like heard that in the mainstream news. Actually, I was watching Young Turks at the time, and they talked about it. I was like, wait, the Pentagon says it's real, and so then I started looking into it a little bit, and yeah, found out it goes a lot deeper than just some leaked videos. And um, yeah, I watch videos about the Sumerian texts, how they talk about the Anunnaki and how we were created by them, and Francis Crick is on board with that. And I learned about the Galactic Federation of Light and all that crazy stuff. So yeah, it started with the leak videos, and then I went down a bunch of rabbit holes and found out that yes, we live in a populated universe, and we're all connected. And
That's interesting with disclosure. Everything's been kind of coming out these last few years here, and people that denied it before, it's like now our government's officially coming out and saying that UFOs are real. So it's interesting, but it's like they're kind of doing this like slow leak with it, where they're just kind of giving a little bit at a time. It seems like, doesn't it?
yeah, I don't know if that's altruistic, if it's a drip, 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 or if it's more. Um, I know there are some like Stephen Greer that says that they're trying to push the fear narrative, the threat narrative of ETs as a threat, that we should like build a bigger military to go to war with them or something
Right.
like that. So yeah, I don't really feel that any official government disclosure is going to be for altruistic reasons. Like I know there are some that say, no, it's drip, 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 so they don't overwhelm you, maybe, but I, yeah, I don't think they're really looking out for us. I think they're trying to push whatever narrative.
Yeah, I definitely feel that way too, but unfortunately. But and I feel like there's different agendas, like, I'm sure you've heard of the fake alien invasion they may be doing.
The Project Bluebeam.
Yeah. And so, who knows what's going to be happening with that. And Rocky Angel here says slow release with depressing distractions. I agree with you. It's funny. It's like they kind of come out at a certain time where it's like they want to distract from other news. So it's like, what's the wildest news they could put out there to kind of distract from these other agendas that they're pushing out? And unfortunately, they use that as the time to do all that.
So wait, so what are your thoughts on all that you mentioned about just ETs in general?
Well, I've actually had my own ET experiences or UFO experiences. I've had many of them. I feel like a lot of it's our government's backwards engineered craft. I feel personally from just all the research I've done and, interviewing whistleblowers for a few years now, and I really feel that our government has been actually working with at least three ET races since the late 30s, early 40s, because I mean, it's not just the ex-Prime Minister of Canada came out and said this, like he literally said this, or the ex-Prime Minister of Defense for Canada about 7 years ago, and then the leader of the Space Administration, Israel, came out and said too that our government has been working with at least three ET races since the late 30s, early 40s. So I don't know. I mean, those are some pretty major people, so there's got to be something to that. And I feel that, I mean, I've gone into my own wormholes of research many times over the recent years, and there's a lot there. Like there's the deep underground military bases, and it's like, why are these other countries, these leaders working for these other countries, coming out and saying that we have been working with at least three ET races since the late 30s, early 40s? Like that must mean that these other countries aren't doing that. So interesting. Thanks. I just want to stop here and say thanks, Liz, for the super chat, and City L for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And Renee, I'm not in my hotel room. I'm actually in the middle of the conference right now, but everyone's at dinner, so hopefully people can join in. But did you have any ET experiences, paranormal experiences?
Personally, no.
Interviewing
I
people.
woke up to my bed shaking.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's all
Well, you said that you think that other countries aren't interacting with ETs. Why do you say
I
that?
feel like maybe they are, but it's weird that like, they haven't come out and said it, but they've come out and said it about us. Like, I wonder what the thing is behind that. I've heard that, the Russians are possibly working with more Nordic races, and then I've heard that You know, obviously the Germans around World War II, they started working with some different races, from my understanding, and possibly started a secret space program in Antarctica. Did you hear about that?
Um, I knew about their base in Antarctica. I didn't know how much that had to do with their space program.
Mm.
The Antarctica thing I heard was the portal into like inner Earth.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's like I hear so many different things about it, and you know, I just kind of analyze it all. You know, like I've heard all these secret space program whistleblowers come forward and talk about different things they've experienced, and I've also heard that there could be an entrance to inner Earth there. So it could be, and from my understanding, it's probably interconnected. But you know, who's it? Admiral Byrd. That's his mission.
Yeah,
Is kind of what
Byrd,
we're talking
yeah.
about here. And he was the one who went to Antarctica and found, apparently the ice is kind of like a shell, and there's this whole like underground area that you can go in, and different our corporations here in America, some major corporations kind of teamed up with the Nazis and went there, did some set some things up, from my understanding. But who knows, you know, it's all obviously kept very secret. It's interesting that a lot of major world leaders have gone there in recent years. To Antarctica. It's like, why would they be going to Antarctica? There's obviously something important going on there. So I find that very interesting.
To the other countries thing, the thought I have is that a lot of these other countries are just kind of waiting for America to lead. Like they're just kind of saying,
That's
like,
interesting.
put it out there already, because they know. Is my thought. Like I know
Yeah.
Mexico, I feel like it's been pressuring the U.S. to.
I know South America is actually really on the whole disclosure topic too. I noticed that when I was there,
they're
and I've been
unearthing
hearing a
some
lot
interesting things over in Peru.
Yeah, I've actually been to Peru. I went there 3 years ago. I climbed to the top of Machu Picchu and had a very interesting time there. Definitely. Abandon here says, so I've heard a few more countries have started a space force now. I'm interested to know what countries have. I know China definitely has. Um, Russia, I'm sure, probably has. Or, well, I don't know if it's technically a space force, but I know they have, you know, had their own space program that they've probably been doing a lot with for a while now. You know, that's another interesting thing is like maybe a lot of these other countries, they've actually developed a lot technologically, and they don't, they're not very vocal about it. Like they don't want us to know what kind of technology they've been working on. Whereas the United States is just kind of, you know, really out there with it. But I think it's really fascinating because, you know, what you were saying about these other countries just kind of allowing America to take the lead. You know, America, I always like to say this on the show, but America to me is like the freedom experiment, or that's what it is. It's a freedom experiment. It's really interesting because one of the speakers earlier was talking about this, and she was talking about the whole like Mayan, the Rainbow Warrior prophecy and everything. And you know, I really feel that way. I think America is a freedom experiment, and I think, you know, the rest of the world kind of like looks to us to see what decisions we make with everything. And unfortunately, we
Like
seem to have been going in a bit of a bad way in recent years. But you know, compared to the rest of the world, I think in some ways we are carrying on the torch with in regards to freedom, or at least a lot of the states in America have been, but maybe not all the states right now, including California, where I come from.
It's hard to feel that way when we have privatized prisons. We'll lock up more people than China.
Well, I mean, China has
many-
concentration camps right now, so I don't know.
So does America.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Tim Boccia for the super chat. It's awesome. Renee here says mini me spears. Yeah, I have the Shaman Spears minis behind me. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring the bigger ones on the plane with me, so I do have the smaller ones right now. Yeah, I actually just put it all in like a big suitcase. I didn't really think I'd be able to do that for events, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna figure this out, and I did. So, I'm really excited about that. Joe Miller here says They say they have a space force in North America, but they don't explain anything, so it's still hush. You know, I actually went to the Space Force and did a show up at the main Space Force base, which is in San Luis Obispo, or I'm sorry, not San Luis Obispo. It's near there. Vandenberg. That's where. And yeah, it was really interesting. So if you haven't seen that show, go back and check it out. I mean, I didn't go inside. I was just kind of out front talking about it, but it was really cool. You know, I would love to. I feel like it'd be very interesting to join the Space Force just because like the newest technology is coming out. That's probably if you want to like start flying a UFO like right when it comes out or a flying saucer like type technology. Probably best to just go into the Space Force because I'm sure they'll start coming out with anti-gravity technology pretty soon here.
I think we have all that already.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, in regards to releasing it.
Oh, to the public.
Yeah.
Topic that interests me a lot. Have you heard of the Lacerda interview? The Lacerda files?
Mm-mm.
Someone purported to interview a being that lived subterranean, a reptilian that lived underground.
Oh wow.
And she talked about like their whole civilization down there and how they were the first like conscious beings or like third density conscious beings on planet Earth. And that's really interesting to me. When I first heard it, I thought like, no, this is crazy. But then I listened to the whole thing, and a lot of it added up so much else that I'd heard.
Oh,
And
I think Inner Earth is a very interesting topic.
oh yeah. I've heard it's more like a honeycomb because when like the
Yeah.
planet cools and pieces of the inner Earth like
Yeah,
come out through the
There's
volcanoes
like
and
it's
stuff.
used that there's certain cave systems all over the world that kind of interconnect that whole honeycomb part of it. But it's like I've also heard it in different ways where they say that, you know, I mean like that there's like a big entrance on the north and south pole and then it just kind of goes through the whole center of the earth. But then there's like a core in the center that's like its own sun. Have you done any research in that?
I've heard of the Crystalline Core. I don't think there's a sun in the Earth.
Yeah, well, it's like I don't know, some sort of core that they say like is like some lets off some sort of light or
Oh,
something.
okay, yeah, that I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like a plasma star, but yeah, so
Yeah.
something giving off natural light. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, I was actually in Mount Shasta doing an event couple weeks ago now. I think it was maybe 3 weeks ago, and we had to do all these meditations with a Mitchell Hedges crystal skull, and it was really fascinating. But like the first meditation they led us through there, um, I instantly felt like I could feel like the energy, like some of it was moving this way, some of it was moving this way, and it was like I could really feel the vortex of the energy. It was like some of the energy was moving faster this way, some of it was moving slower this way, and it was like moving in like really interesting way, like right under me. And then I could feel like so much emptiness, like way, way deep under the earth. And I could feel like sense these beings under us. And it was really interesting because like I sensed them and I tried to connect with them. And then it was almost like I got this vibe from them, like I felt this sort of energy from them, like they're like looking up at like laughing, like that's cute that she's trying to do this. It was really interesting.
So, sorry, how are you contacting them? Like meditation?
Through meditation.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Got a lot of chats.
Yeah, I'm just going through these now. So well, hmm. I think I'm just gonna mess around with the chat for a little bit. So
Okay.
thank you so much for coming
Yeah,
on.
absolutely.
Hopefully
Thanks for
one of
having
some
me on.
more speakers
Oh,
come through here. Juliet,
thank you.
would you like to talk on my show for a little bit?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon.
People to go dancing.
Oh, that's where I was gonna go next. So.
Oh, are you leading the dance thing?
No,
Oh, okay.
but I just figured
Feel
it'd
free
be
to
fun
sit
to
down.
dance.
Yeah, oh, I would love to dance. When is that starting?
Like already.
Oh, how long is it gonna happen for?
I think till 10.
Oh, okay, perfect. We got plenty of time. Awesome. So this is Juliet, and I've had her on my show before. But so you're gonna be speaking this weekend. What are you speaking on?
Creative movement meditation. So I'm gonna do three things. We have a grandmother's panel, and
I think I'm gonna be on that with you too.
yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah.
know this. Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna be doing a guided meditation on Sunday for 30 minutes, and then tomorrow I'm doing a creative movement meditation workshop. So that'd be 90 minutes. So it'll be fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Probably mainly gonna people.
What? That's awesome. What day is that again? Tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
And for everyone out there, in case you're just joining now, please go ahead and check out campdisclosure.com, I believe it is. Let me make sure. Yeah, campdisclosure.com. And if you want to join the live chat, if you want to see your speak, but you can't come here physically, live stream tickets are at the bottom of the tickets section, and they are $88. So make sure you go check that out. Yeah, I was talking about the Mitchell Hedges crystal skull right before you came on. A lot of people are talking about that in the chat right now. So I was just in Mount Shasta, and Mitchell, there's this like have you heard about the 12 crystal skulls from like Indiana Jones?
Oh yeah.
So
heard
like
of
they're
this.
like a real life thing,
Wow.
and the first one that was kind of found in modern times, it was interesting how it was found, but it was in a Mayan pyramid, and some earthquakes had happened, and some rocks had moved aside to a point where like when the sun came in, this light just like shot out of the pyramid.
Wow.
Everyone's like, what is this? They went
That's
and
wild.
they unearthed it, and it was this huge crystal skull. It was just in the middle of the pyramid,
Wow.
and it was like it was ready to be found.
Wow.
You know?
That is so cool.
And yeah, I got to meditate with it, and like the guy who's the caretaker, Bill, he explained all those stories about, you know, what his life is like being the caretaker of the skull. Like goes all around the world, like castles and
Wow.
conferences, and it's so fascinating. So yeah, a lot of people know this skull. It's so funny because the skull is just all over the place, and everyone's met it personally. It's
That's
like
so cool.
its own being. It's so
Does he have
interesting.
like weird experiences with it?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I meditated with it. I actually charged one of my spears in
Wow.
front of it, which is very interesting. But he kind of had all of us at the workshop just sit there and meditate and like look in its eyes and
Wow.
do it. And like I felt like at a certain point, it was like I was meditating with it, and then I just felt all this energy just like come into me. And he was like, okay, you're done, you're good. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what was that? He's like, that gave you a lot of information. I was like, I definitely felt that. That's for
so
sure.
Cool.
Marco here says, I can drive to the conference in 5 hours, leaving now. So, man, yeah, come out, join us. We need to get as many people out here as possible.
Yeah, and I'm sure most of you could be here on an airplane pretty quickly.
Yeah, you know you may have to rent a car, but this place is only like an hour or two away from Atlanta. So, you know, come out here, rent a car, and hang out. This campground area is so amazing. I'm sure there are plenty of rooms left at the hotels. I think the cabins are maybe sold out, but there's a hotel right here on the property. Or if you have a camper, RV or something, you can always just drive out here and have fun with that. So, yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely a lot of awesome people here. The opening ceremony was really nice.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
This beginning.
Yeah.
What are you speaking?
I'm actually speaking at oh crap, what was it again? I keep forgetting. It's Saturday. I know it's Saturday. It says 11:15 or like 10. I think it's 11:15. Actually, let me pull that up again. Yeah, 9:45 to 11:15. I know. That's what I'm like, you know.
Are you a morning person?
I'm like, I mean, I can get up, you know, whenever I need to be up.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering who else is gonna want to be up at that time. I'm hoping maybe like I know some people dropped out, so maybe I can switch a spot. I don't know.
My workshop is 11:30, and I'm complaining
In the
about
morning?
that. It's still morning.
Oh.
It's 11:30.
Yeah, mine is like even earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank here says, how long is the camp? It's actually going on till Sunday evening. And yeah, I'm leaving Monday morning, so yeah, it's gonna be quite the weekend. Still got a
Yeah.
lot of time left here, so
I'm
it's
leaving
not even the
Tuesday.
weekend yet. Oh wow, you're gonna hang out here longer. Yeah, the property here is amazing. You can go
Beautiful.
tubing and waterfalls, and
Yeah.
I missed all that.
I went
I
tubing
haven't done any of
yesterday,
it yet.
and I got like a lot of river rock kisses when I fell
Oh
out.
wow!
Yeah,
Oh my
like,
gosh!
all beat up.
Is it like a raging river?
There's just a few places where there's rapids, and
Yeah.
I got caught up on a tall rock, and then like my friend Robbie, we were tethered together with our inner tubes, and she like pushed off, and then I capsized, and so I kind of got banged around a little bit when I was trying to get my footing back.
Oh
you
my
know?
gosh,
Yeah.
that's wild. I've never
Yeah.
actually done anything like that before. So I don't. Hopefully I'll have some time, but it looks like the next few days are gonna be pretty
Yeah.
jam packed here.
How late are you leaving?
I think early in the morning. Or probably around 1 actually. So I guess it's not super early in the morning. Oh, thanks, Colin, for the super stickers. You guys are showing me so much love tonight. I really appreciate it. You know, I've been working very hard on this show, and for some reason last month I didn't make any money from YouTube. I don't know what the deal with that was. Yeah, it's just been like I feel like I'm being shadow banned. I don't know. It's just been
That's not
weird.
cool.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm about to be on KGRA and
Yay.
Aftermath, so
That's
look out for
awesome.
that, you guys. That's gonna be really cool. I got picked up by them, so Ben Robin says bank holiday special. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that on the show, but I agree with you, Frank. So Julia, do you have any paranormal experiences you'd like to talk about? This is the Experiencers Lounge, UFO experiences, paranormal
Sure.
experiences.
So when back in 1990, I was going around to a lot of rainbow gatherings, and I would kind of
What's a
do
rainbow gathering? I'm sorry.
it was like hippies in the woods. you
Okay.
know. It was before Burning Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but it's like non-commercial, and people will bring food and bring them to the group kitchen, and people, all take turns like cooking,
Oh,
this
nice.
kind of thing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So at gatherings, it's really common to see, like space points of light that are doing funny things in the sky and stuff, and so it was pretty common. I went to the Sufi Retreat Center in upstate New York that summer called the Abode of the Message, and I learned about different things with the Sufi system of chakras, which is slightly different. So with the Sufi system, your eyes are also considered chakras. And
wow.
so it's like an electric blue beam that comes out of your eyes. And so Pure Valida Khan is the guy that was teaching this. He was head of the Sufi West, and he taught us how to combine these two blue beams coming out of our eyes with a purple beam, violet beam from the third eye out in front of us into one beam. So I would take that and practice, like if my back was hurting, like send it to my lower back and feel it heat up. So I did that. So after that, I decided, well, I'm gonna take that and do something else with it. So what I would do is when I would see one of these points of light in the sky, I would like fill my heart center up with heart, just expand it as big as I could, and then take that energy and then send it boom out through this combined beam out to whatever the point was that I saw. And then it would like kind of do this little dance and move around and then go back to where it was. I knew that it was like not a star or satellite or whatever,
Yeah.
And so I went to this gathering in Ithaca, in upstate New York, later that summer. And one night I was out and I was like, I heard, look up the sky. So I looked up and I saw like a point in each of the directions and one in the center. And I did the little thing and they would all be like, oh, that's cool. Well, the next night I heard the same thing, look up the sky. Okay. So I looked up and I saw the same thing. And then I started seeing down below that, right above tree lines, points in each of the directions and each of the quadrants. And I was like, oh, that's cool. The sister energies here with quadrants. So, and then I saw all these points start moving up at the same time, like from just above tree level to about this like 45-degree angle. And I noticed it wasn't just a single point in each of the directions and quadrants, it was a cluster. And so I've got my drawing in my book, but not with me. So they all like moved up at the same time to about like that level. It's like 45 degrees or whatever. And so I started doing that thing with each of those points and I could see like energetic lines in between the points forming a symbol. And so I was told, I heard like, write it down. And I'm like, okay, so I got my little flashlight out, my notepad and my pen, and I started writing each of the symbols down, and I like checked in each of them to make sure that I was getting everything right. And I've showed them to a bunch of people, and I still have no idea what they mean. They look sort of like runes, but not exactly.
Oh wow.
So that was really weird. That was really weird. And so I knew it was like supposed to be some important message, but I have no idea what. I did have a guy who I worked with for a lot of years that's an energy healer and remote viewer. And he told me that it wasn't so much a message like for someone else. He said that that was supposed to activate something within me, but it went too deep in my system and didn't activate. So I'm like clueless.
I think whatever symbols you got, I think it was a download for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely probably helped you integrate
yeah,
a lot of it.
that's really interesting. Very strange.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I had
You know,
another weird experience that was not so happy. Same year, I was at Strawberry Lake in Colorado. I went there with some friends to a regional rainbow gathering that we thought was there, but it wasn't at Strawberry Lake, it was somewhere else. But we thought it was there. So me and one friend went there, and we hanging out there for a few nights until somebody came by and we were able to get a ride, hitchhiking with them to go to the right place. But one night we were sitting out by the campfire and we saw something over in the woods across the street. So we walked over there and we saw two like triangle shaped things that were about the height of a human person's chest. And it was like an orange triangle that on two things that were moving toward us, and we freaked the fuck out and we ran up to the campfire and just stayed up there.
Like wait, like
But it
orange
did
like
not-
lights? Like it was at
like
nighttime?
you know, like fluorescent orange, like you see like on highway when highway construction's being done, that
Yeah.
bright orange, you know, like on safety vest, that real bright orange
Uh-huh.
color. It was like that color. And yeah, they started moving towards it, and we did not feel good energy, whatever color it
Wow.
was. Oh, and so important to mention, earlier that day, we were out by the lake. We were swimming toward the middle of the lake, and we saw, this is the only time I've ever actually seen it ship, and it was like a disc, like a silver disc, and it went above the tree line going over like that direction. So, you know, to the other side of the lake. And then that experience with something in the woods happened that night. So I have no friggin' idea, but that was the only experience I had that was negative, you know, that was like freaky. Everything
Yeah,
else is
that's
felt positive.
interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anyone talk about orange
It
triangles.
was
coming
bizarre. It was really bizarre.
up. Wow.
Yeah.
Someone here said something about what are little grays, their mission, purpose, and agenda? Oh, okay, I guess that's a question for me. You know, I've had a lot of interesting experiences with grays. I've heard a lot of different things about them. I've heard that they are androids that our government is like controlling, or they're androids that, you know, are controlled by a different planetary community. So who knows? I mean, I've also heard that they're us from the future and that we evolved to a point where we were super technologically advanced and we could time travel and everything, but we could no longer reproduce because of the way we evolved. So they come back to abduct people to be able to reproduce.
I've heard that.
And because a lot of the abduction cases, it's like they're taking their sperm, so kind of interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah, those are,
One thing I've heard too is that, like, you know, the cattle mutilations.
yeah.
So apparently they would just take specific organs, and a lot of times this is so gross, but they would like pour out their anus and take that. And
I didn't know about that.
so apparently all the areas they were taking were mucous membranes, which have stem
Oh,
cells.
wow.
So
Huh.
it seemed like maybe they were trying to harvest human animal stem cells.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard that with the cattle mutilation, I've heard a lot about that being our government doing it for a certain program. So I don't know, you know, and they could be doing that for that purpose, or it could have been aliens, who knows? So it's hard to know what to believe these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are some really wild experiences. I don't know if I thanked you, Colin Smith, for this super sticker. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing. Tim Terabotia here says multidimensional beings phasing on different frequencies, good and negative beings. James Gillian teaches to spiritually clear negatives. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people in the community, they try to, there's like certain people with, I don't know what agendas they have in the community lately, saying that there's no negative beings, there's only positive ones. And, what do you think about that? Do you think there's
I think that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I think there are negative beings.
Yeah.
There's
I mean,
negative
there's gonna be
beings.
people-
You
yeah.
know, I mean, to me, it would make sense that every type of being would have positive.
Yes.
That's just scary. But I think there are negative ones, that like feed off the leash.
Yeah.
So
Definitely
how
are
would they
cons.
be positive if they're feeding off of our emotions?
Yeah.
That's scary.
One interesting thing I have, like people that say that, oh, there's only positive ones. What I've heard interesting that they say is, that the only ones that we talk about being positive ETs tend to be like the Nordic looking ones, and they see that's like a weird agenda. And I think it's kind of interesting because it's like, they're like, oh, so the only positive ones are the ones that kind of look like us. And I didn't think that was kind of interesting. I'm like, okay. But
I bet there's negative ones that look a lot.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And
definitely.
there's probably positive reptilians and negative reptilians.
Yeah. Like people say like the Manus ones are negative, but I get a really interesting vibe from them. I feel like I have a connection with those ones.
I had a weird experience one time. I was meditating where I sometimes remote view stuff, but it's really random. I have control over it. I just kind of just start seeing shit sometimes.
Oh wow.
I may can zoom out and see from different angles, but usually, almost always, I have no idea why I'm seeing what I'm seeing. It's like, hey, somebody's want me to see this, but I don't know why, But there was one time I was meditating and I saw this was just really freaky. It looked like a little round like ship with a console and a manta figure staying there, and it was like there were loudspeakers on the outside of its little ship, and it was playing this song. It was like a country song or something. Like it was
awesome.
wanting, like it was broadcasting this thought form of this song. It wanted someone to pick up. Weird as hell.
Wow.
Really
What
weird.
song was it?
I don't even remember. It was not any song that like existed. It was something.
Oh.
It was almost like it was trying to deliver this song to someone to
So,
put
like,
out there in the world
wow.
for some reason. It was
I think
weird.
there's definitely something to that with like I've noticed it's like a lot of like inventors or like artists, like a lot of people kind of come to the same ideas
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's, it's probably has something to do with the collective consciousness
Yeah.
too, but I also wonder if it's like, like you said, like maybe certain ETs are trying to give people downloads and it's like whoever accepts it first and
Yeah.
comes out with it first. And
Yeah.
it always seems like people are kind of breaking through to like the same ideas with inventions and
Yeah.
even art, like songs around the same time. So
And I'm
it's
a
definitely
songwriter, so that might have been why, it was
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to target me, but it was a crappy song. I don't remember much about it, but it was not a good song.
that's so interesting.
I know, I was like, no, I don't know what you could do with that bad song.
Wow.
Just go away with your little platform shit. Bye.
Wow, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Don Keys here says that gray above Apollo is creeping me out. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I realized
Oh, that one.
he looks like he's like looking down at
Oh,
me in the
that's so
video.
funny, the person takes a selfie with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they put that up there, so kind of funny. I don't know, did any of you guys want to come on and share experiences? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
All right. Oh, thank you
It was
so much
great to
for
talk
coming
with
on.
you.
Yeah, it's great talking with you too. I'll be at your workshops tomorrow.
Yes,
Oh, David, what's your name?
my name's David Campbell,
David. Nice
East
to meet you.
Tennessee,
Oh wow.
and kind of I don't know what she had to say. What she said, a couple of things there that I can relate to. First of all, y'all were talking about negative and positive ETs. I have a friend I play tennis with, multimillionaire, and somebody told me he had seen being. And I asked him about it. He didn't much want to talk about it. But I finally said, you know, I've seen a ship myself. He said, okay, I'll tell you. He said, that was several years ago. He had an office in the city. Left his office late one night. Went out, and his car wouldn't start. So he goes back in to maybe call somebody. And the lights on, and over in the corner, there was a being about 7 foot tall that had snake skin.
Oh, wow.
He said he just didn't know what to say, what to do. Whatever. Said it moved his hand. He said, I can understand that he was saying, I can see in the future, I can see in the past. And he said, it scared me so much. I ran out, got my car, and it would start. Then I got to thinking, you know. He came back, turned the lights in, nobody's there. And he said, do I call the police or what do I do? But I asked James Gillian
Yeah.
about it last year. About that. He said, well, David, they are negatives. And that guy, the ones that have the snake skin on the negative side, they're trying to infiltrate your life, maybe control you to some degree. So tell your friend, don't communicate with
Yeah,
that.
especially you said he was a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, he had no reason
So
to
there's
come
probably
up
something
with that. Yeah,
that
yeah,
in
maybe
his life that he
to borrow
doesn't
money.
even-
I don't know.
I mean, maybe he was trying to control something.
Yeah, yeah. So
Line of
that
work he
was
does or
then when I was 13 years old and experienced myself. I went to a Boy Scout camp out East Tennessee in the woods. I was sitting out by myself near a lake around the corner, and I had no idea what a saucer was, and never did think about it. And all of a sudden, I looked up, and it looked like two plates together, and they had lights around the upper half and lower half, and it was moving real slow. It is huge, about a third the size of a football field.
Wow.
And it's going slow, no noise. And it's fairly low. I just watched it slowly go, and it's kind of tilted down. I thought, looked like it's headed toward a mountain. That thing, whatever, it's gonna crash into that mountain. Well, it didn't. It went over the top. Now, of course, hey, I saw it. Yeah, it's an airplane. Well, the airplane was round. It didn't have any engines. There was no noise. Of course, nobody believed me. And of course, I never did tell them and talk about it.
What year was that?
When I was 13 years old, a few years ago. But probably 2 days later, we're going on this canoe hike trip, and the canoes kind of went around this mountain on the other side, and there was a big house over there on the other side of the lake with a big fence around it. And I asked the instructor, I was in the canoe with the instructor, I said, what, who lives over there? Oh, that's off limits. We can't go there. We don't know who lives there, but we can't go there. As the thing landed, no wonder you can't go there.
Wow.
But
That's
you know,
interesting.
and I've always been looking. Never have seen anything since. But that's one of my experience, the only experience I've ever had. And you know, I wasn't
That was in East Tennessee.
East Tennessee when I was 13 years old. And
I
like I said,
definitely haven't heard of there being any like government bases really in that area, so I couldn't imagine it being a backwards engineered craft.
no, and you know, the other thing I thought about, if it wasn't that house that's off limits, that lake over there, maybe sometimes I see where there's speculation that maybe they go underwater. And certainly there's a lot of water there. But those two things I never have really shared with many people, but it's true. I wouldn't imagine things. And
Well, you're sharing it with my audience now.
yeah, okay, well,
Yeah.
that's my story. So thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with
You're
me.
welcome.
Sorry, I missed it.
You know, it's interesting with these stories. It's like a lot of people, you know, a lot of people don't feel comfortable with sharing their stories because they feel that, you know, they'll be ridiculed or something for it. And, you know, it's interesting because I think with the recent reports coming out in regards to full disclosure, I think it's really making a lot more people feel comfortable about coming out with what they've experienced. So it's really cool, and that's why I'm sharing this Experiencers Lounge experience this weekend. I'm hosting it. I haven't really done this before. I've been hosting an Experiencers Lounge, so it should be interesting. I remember, when I first started going to UFO conferences, that was kind of the most interesting thing. If you're like a new person going to UFO conferences, it's interesting going to those because, you kind of meet people that have their own stories, and then, if you have your own stories, you're like, oh, I'm not that crazy because, this person had the same story as me, and this person, their stories are kind of similar. And so you can kind of sit down and, everyone talks about their stories, what they think it might mean. For me, I had a line, and I talk about this all the time on my show, but I had a lime green ball of light shoot down from the sky and hover like 20 feet or so in front of me. And I had no idea what this is. I know I saw it. It was this lime green glowing ball of light. And, after a while, I actually ended up finding out several people who had the same experience. And, so it was like kind of the same thing with me. It's like, I want to know what I experienced. So going to these experiencers lounges, I think it's definitely important to have these at conferences because a lot of these people that are coming out to these conferences, they may be people that, are like this guy who just came on who have their stories, and they always felt like they couldn't share them with anyone because they felt like, they'd be ridiculed for it, and, they didn't feel comfortable. So, that's what's amazing about having these conferences. That's why these conferences are so important, in my opinion, because people can just come out, share their stories, and meet like-minded people, and, maybe not like-minded, but open-minded. That's the word I'm looking for. Open-minded individuals. So it's interesting to come to these conferences and meet a lot of open-minded individuals.
I was looking this oscillate.
Tim Turbokia, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right here, says, green is usually a healing energy, Apolla. Yeah, so what I ended up finding out from being at several of these conferences and experiencers lounges, it took a while, but someone came to me after one of them I went to, which was at Stargate to the Cosmos in New Mexico. And it was one of the earlier conferences I've been to. I hadn't really been to many at that point. I've already been to Contact in the Desert several times. Probably at least like 3 or 4 times. But at this point, I hadn't really been to many other conferences. And I went to that one, and I went to the Experiencers Lounge, and I was asking them, what is this? And like a lot of people didn't, have much to say about it. But a little later that weekend, I met a woman who was the daughter of the guy who worked in the Pentagon with Valiant Thor, supposedly. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that story. So she was his daughter, the guy that worked with him at the Pentagon, and wrote Stranger at the Pentagon. So I told her about this, and she was like, that sounds a lot to me like Archangel Raphael. She's like, they're not just angels. These angels are basically ascended master, like ETs, Yeah, I mean, angels are kind of the same as ETs or ascended masters. I mean, that's what she says, and I kind of feel, from my experience, that seems to be pretty true. So it was interesting, and then a little while after that, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm like, okay, this is Raphael. Am I like connected with Raphael? So I looked into what he's about, and like he kind of represented, kind of providing inspiration for humanity, which is interesting because I go around giving, and he's like a healer type, and so I've been studying energy work and different energy healing modalities my entire life, and so he actually also represents inspirations for humanity, and I go around giving presentations on solutions for humanity. So it was really fascinating. And then later I'm at this other conference with what's his name? Oh, what am I forgetting his name? Well, the Native American guy, why can I not remember his name right now? Clifford Mahoney, that's it. For some reason I was thinking Cookie, like it rhymes with that, but Clifford Mahoney, he had the same kind of experience like many times, and he said this like lime cream ball like comes to him all the time. So after he got finished with doing his presentation, I like grabbed him. I was like, Clifford, I have this same experience with this all the time. I'm like, can you please tell me what this is? Like, he didn't say what he thought it was in his presentation. He was just going on about it. And so he told me the same thing. He was like, from my experience, it's Archangel Raphael, but he's an Ascended Master and he's also an ET. I was like, wow, that's so interesting. So it's like, that's why it's interesting to come out here and, share your stories at these kind of experiencers lounges or at these kind of events, because a lot of people can help you connect the dots, and it may sound really crazy and weird, but then once you meet like several other people that have the same experience with you and are getting the same information, kind of makes you feel like, okay, I think I'm starting to figure this out now. Frank Monday here says angels and ascended masters are tangibly different. In Chinese Tao and AA is called Cyan, and an angel is Tian Shi. Interesting. I'm not sure what you mean by AA. Oh, ascended master. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm saying I don't claim to have all the answers. Someone here says Quiver is cool. Met him at ECETI in 2018. Yeah, I love Quiver Moody. I think he was supposed to be there this year. I wish I could have seen him there. I wish I could have made it out to that this year. It was just man, I've just been like traveling nonstop, and it's been a lot. Oh, I'm going back to these older messages here, and Qdoba here says, or sorry, I read that as Qdoba, but Koba says, "Yep, I saw that ball of light also, same height." Yeah, well, that's interesting. Yeah, for me, it was like it just came down, paused, like like a split second, or just long enough to be like at eye level with me, like I see you, and I want you to know, or I want you to know that I see you, and then that I know that you see me. That's kind of what I got from it, and then just shot forward and disappeared. So it definitely wasn't natural. Renee here says, compelling UFO story, sir. She's talking to the guy who's here. I saw a UFO when I was 12 years old here in San Francisco back in 1978. Mind-boggling. That's amazing. Tina here says, has anyone experienced a floating green fog hovering over them? I woke up with that hovering over me, and my mom has seen and described seeing it floating one night in her living room. That's interesting. So that might be, something that's a part of your soul family that, your family happens to be connected with. So I would look more into that. That's what I'm saying. It's so important to talk about your experiences, because then you can kind of help each other work it out. So, ooh, it's like I'm by myself now here. I think if I got anything else I want to bring up here. Again, if you want to help fund my show and keep it going, if any of you haven't seen my latest episode before this one, A Message to Hollywood, it's really so important because it's about what I've been experiencing in the entertainment industry, and I want the message out there for everyone. It looks like a lot of my work is going to be over because I don't want to go with the mandates, the forced mandates. So if you want to help keep me going and help me survive, basically, please feel free to show me some love, get some Shaman Spears off my site, which is right here at shamanspears.com. It's pretty easy to remember, shamanspears.com, right here. And I have a lot of amazing products up. I'm gonna be selling a lot of the conference this weekend. Some of my taller ones I couldn't bring out here, and those ones are really amazing. I got all the smaller ones here this weekend, and then I have these amazing feather headdresses. Everything on here I made myself, except for this shirt. I still have some of these shirts left. There's only 30 of them that will ever be made, and they say I believe in humans, and they just happen to have my show logo on the back. And I just realized I should have brought those here. What was I thinking? Oh well, whatever. I just realized that. What am I thinking? Okay. But it's okay. It's okay. You guys can order it. I'll let you guys order those shirts. So yeah, got a lot of interesting stuff up here. And so if you want to support me, please do that there. It's a lot of fun. Frank Monday here says, I dropped your name to Dark Journalist and look forward to seeing you there. Awesome. Much appreciated. I don't know, is that a show? I haven't heard of that show, but I always like connecting and being on new shows, so that's awesome. I really appreciate it. Warren here says, when one door closes, another door opens. Reshape your consciousness higher, and what is behind closed doors are they. We are to stand united and fight against the darkness, for they only show. Thank you so much for that comment. I am right there with you, brother. I feel that 100%. That just gave me the chills. Oh, yeah. You know, it's just like, I'm sorry, you can't make me go through that, literally. I will not comply with those mandates. I'm sorry, I just won't. And that's how I feel about that. It really is. So, yeah, like I said, please go ahead and share the message with my last video. That would be very much appreciated. And, you know, I think it takes a people out there actually standing up for it instead of complying and just going along with things. And I'm sorry I don't get too detailed in what I'm talking about here because I'm gonna keep my show. So, but you guys, I know you all know what I'm talking about, and you know, sorry. Yeah, my body, my choice. Stu said it. Oh, sorry, wrong one. My body, my choice. Yep, that's how I feel, and it's unfortunate. You know, it looks like educators are now being forced with that as well. My mom sent me a text about that earlier, and you know, she's a secretary at a grade school, so that's unfortunate also. So, you know, and who knows what's going to happen in the future. But I think a lot's going to be revealed in this upcoming flu season, unfortunately. So I'm just, you know, I'm saying if you want to hold out, at least hold out for that long. Also, you know, my other thoughts are I feel that of any of them, Johnson may be not the worst one because um they're actually doing it the old school way. So I would say if you are really forced, that one may be the one to go with, but I'm not recommending any of them. So this, you know, I'm really trying to like be very casual with this topic, so that's all I have to say about that. But you know, like I was saying earlier in this show, America is the freedom experiment, and I think the rest of the world is looking up to us to see where we are going with this. And you know, I think people really need to stick to how they feel and what their intuition is telling them about these kind of things because, you know, if you're just forcibly going along with these things and everyone just kind of bends over and takes it, then things aren't going to be looking so good in the future. So, yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about all of it, but you know, I'm at least, you know, I've been fine. I've been fine for a couple of years, and I feel if it supposedly does work, then you shouldn't have to take it if you don't want to. If it supposedly works, then you know it should be working for you. That's how I feel about it. I'm sorry. You know, it's just how it goes. So those are my thoughts on it. But yeah, so again, you guys, if you want to join us this weekend here at Camp Disclosure and you can't physically join us, please go to campdisclosure.com and go to the ticket section. And we have the live stream tickets right here for $88. So you are welcome to check that out. And yeah. So I'm going to be here all weekend. I may go live again. So if you'd like to hear me go live, please make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you get notifications if I do go live. I think I'm just going to be kind of set up here. So I might do another Experiencers Lounge just because, you know, I'm going to be probably hanging out here all weekend. So please come join me. It'll be a lot of fun. And also, like I said, I'm going to be starting with KGRA and Aftermath. Looks like KGRA I am going on at 5 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday, my usual time, but for 2 hours. And unfortunately, that won't be on YouTube, but it will be on KGRA right before Jimmy Church, actually, Fade to Black. And then Aftermath, I'll be going on Thursdays, and I was supposed to be going on between Leo Zagami and Clyde Lewis, but unfortunately I got the dates confused. I feel really bad about this. I accidentally told them Tuesday as well as KGRA, so now we're trying to work out what time on Tuesday I will be going on, or I mean Thursday with Aftermath. Apparently Leo's kind of upset about that because he wanted me on right next to him. So we'll see what we can work out with that. I hope they can work out a better time for me. Otherwise, I'll be going on at 1 p.m. But that will be streamed on my show. So, you know, it will be 1 p.m. Pacific. So that'll be a little later East Coast time if you're on the East Coast. Yeah, Frank here says, super stoked you're opening for church. So cool. Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited about that. I've always loved his show. So, and what's interesting is like he's gonna be hosting the Conscious Life Expo, and I'm gonna be starting this with them right before the Conscious Life Expo, and then we're both gonna be working that. So I'll be speaking at the Conscious Life Expo 2 days actually, and I'll have my Shaman Spears booth. So if you're in the LA area or you want to come out to LA, I don't know why you would with the Nazi. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. But if you want to come out to LA, please do so and check out the Conscious Life Expo. We're gonna have a lot of fun. You will have to wear your mask, unfortunately. But that's how it is in LA now, unfortunately. So we'll see how that goes. But alright, you guys, until next time on Apollo's Odyssey, I'll catch you Tuesday, but until then. Oh, actually, I may be back on before then. I forgot to say that. Yeah, so I might randomly tune in and talk about have other people come on and talk about their experiences like I have tonight. So feel free to join in. I'll let you know when I'm going live again. So yeah. Alright guys, thanks for joining me tonight, and until next time on Apollo's Odyssey. Over and out. Bye guys.